In my performance here, I also turned off my mic. It's good. Welcome to Monday. Speaking of Monday, as we thought about themes and how to go about this week, and we talked so much about the spiritual life and using this time together as retreat time, that really colored how I looked at today's gospel reading. And what stands out to me is John is writing to us about discipleship. And he's presenting two examples of disciples. Not the only two kind, just two in this reading, Mary and Judas. So in Mary's discipleship, she comes in with this costly perfume made of nard and kneels at his feet and washes them. So what we can take away from that, aside from the fact that John sees her as a disciple, right? John is not as focused on there are 12 disciples. John sees this greater community of discipleship, has expanded it to include these women. And so in this action, this adoration of kneeling at the feet of Jesus and washing his feet, John is foreshadowing Jesus' washing of the feet of the disciples that's coming in just a handful of days. And so he's saying the disciple who's growing in faith, knows within their heart what adoration looks like, and then does the thing, comes and washes the feet. Doesn't mean that she's a better disciple than the others who had to wait until after Jesus washed their feet and blah, blah, blah. But here's an example of discipleship, an action from the heart, total adoration. And it's really interesting with Mary because just a little bit ago, Lazarus was in the tomb. And please, Jesus, don't open the tomb, it smells. The stench of death is there in the tomb. Let's not open that. And now Mary is at the center of the story where this perfume, this beautiful smell fills the room, erasing all worry about some sort of stench. And this is the beautiful aspect of discipleship, that from our adoration of Christ, there is this beautiful bloom that surrounds us. And so we go to that well of adoration so that then we are carried out into the world naturally to do the work that God has given us to do, in the same way that a perfume just naturally floats into a space. And that's a real proper order to discipleship. It begins with our relationship, our dedication, which is costly. It's not without price. So there's Mary. Now here's Judas. Poor Judas. Judas says what we all like to think, no, maybe that money should have been spent on something better. Why didn't you spend that money to go and feed people? Just this wonderful other mission that we have. And Jesus says, no, I'm only going to be here a little longer. You're always going to have the poor. So one of the issues is allowing some transactionalism to enter into our life with Jesus, right? Well, we'd get a better bang for our buck if we sold the nard and we just went out and fed people. Yeah, but what about that adoration that's at the heart of discipleship? That matters. We need to do that. There was a man in my last parish whose son had died during the AIDS epidemic. And he dedicated a window in the church to him. This cost thousands of dollars. And someone came up to him and said, why did you spend all that money on that window when we could have fed people? Then it broke his heart. He gave that money because he loved his son and because he loved Jesus. Not knowing that story, I said to him, oh, George, tell me about the window. And he told me, and I said, George, people have been coming in here since the 1990s and feasting on your dedication. Thank you so much for that gift. So the other little thing to take away about Judas is, why would they give him the purse if they knew he was going to steal from it? We grow in discipleship. We don't get to be disciples after we've graduated from disciple school. Here's your discipleship license. You had to take a test every year just to renew it. Right? That's not how discipleship works. We become discipled through the process of becoming discipled. So Judas was one of the family, despite his flaws. And this is why his death is so crushing to us. It's so sad. Even Peter, right? I mean, Peter's transgressions weren't to the level of Judas. But when Jesus comes back, he takes Peter right back into his embrace. He's not like, well, Peter, you really disappointed me on the night of my arrest, so never mind. You're done. Jesus never throws us away. And we don't have to pass a test to become a disciple. We just have to say yes. Amen.